There is a practice that has been performed in Jewish households from Babylon to Andalusia, to Amsterdam to Saft, for more than 1,000 years. A practice so simple that its description takes less than 30 seconds. So ancient that its roots go back to the tabernacle in the wilderness, and so specifically financial in its Kabbalistic interpretation that the tradition explicitly connects it to the opening of what the Zohar calls the channels of material blessing in the physical world. The practice is this: before sunrise, in the darkness, before the natural light has arrived, light a single candle, a simple white candle. Hold a match to the wick, and in the moment the flame appears, in the specific, unrepeatable instant when darkness gives way to the first light of the flame, speak a Hebrew declaration over your finances for the day. 3 specific phrases, spoken to the flame, in the pre-dawn dark. And the Kabbalistic tradition says that what happens in the spiritual atmosphere of your financial life in that moment is not symbolic, it is structural. The Zohar, in Tractate Vayakel, teaches explicitly, when a person lights a candle in holiness, a flame is kindled from above that corresponds to it. The physical candle below creates a channel, the divine light above responds, and the channel between them, open in the Sha'at Ratzon, the hour of divine favor before sunrise, sealed by the Hebrew declaration spoken over the flame, is the specific financial channel that the morning seal practice activates. Today, I am giving you everything you need to perform this practice tomorrow morning. The candle, the 3 Hebrew phrases, the theological foundation behind every element, and the specific financial declaration that seals the channel for the day that follows the lighting. Welcome, I am the Millionaire Priest, and today I am giving you the Kabbalistic morning seal, the flame, the declaration, and the channel it opens. Let me begin with the candle itself, because the candle in the biblical and Kabbalistic tradition is not decorative, it is theological. The first instruction God gave about light in the tabernacle is found in Exodus 27:20. Command the Israelites to bring you clear oil of pressed olives for the light, so that the lamps may be kept burning. Shemen Zayit Zach, pure pressed olive oil. Not any oil. The clearest, purest, most refined oil that the olive could produce, obtained by the first pressing before any heat was applied, the reshit of the oil. And this oil was to keep the lamp burning tamid, continuously, without interruption. The light of the tabernacle was not occasional, it was constant. An wealthiest man in the ancient world, he did not pray for money, he asked for one thing, and wealth followed as the consequence. I am the Millionaire Priest, and I have spent 20 years documenting what Solomon knew. 2 books, the Confession Code, the 7 financial sins no priest will name from the pulpit, and the priest's ledger, the 40-year method for reading wealth before it arrives, one for where you are, one for where you are going. Both available now through the link in the description and the pinned comment below. What that constant light represented, in the Kabbalistic reading of the tabernacle that runs through the entire Zohar, was the Or Ein Sof, the infinite light of God, maintained in continuous visible presence in the physical world through the vessel of the menorah. The candle you light before sunrise is the household expression of this same theological reality. Not the menorah, you are not in the tabernacle, but the same principle, a vessel of oil or wax, a flame, the Or Ein Sof made visible in your physical space, and the act of lighting it, the deliberate, intentional bringing of that divine light into the physical space where your financial life is conducted, is the act of consecration that the morning seal practice is built on. Proverbs 31:18 adds a specific financial dimension to the candle in the pre-dawn. She perceives that her merchandise is profitable. Her lamp does not go out at night. The woman of valor, the model of financial excellence in the book of Proverbs, is specifically described as a person whose light does not go out. The lamp that is kept burning through the night and into the pre-dawn is the lamp of the financially alert, the financially attentive, the household that does not allow the darkness to establish its financial claim on the day before the covenant light has been lit. The candle before sunrise is the act of not letting the financial darkness of the unexamined day begin without the specific light of covenant declaration. Before I give you the 3 Hebrew phrases of the morning seal, I want to pause here because the practice I am describing connects directly to something I have documented in depth in my 2 books. The Confession Code, the 7 Financial Sins. No priest will name from the pulpit addresses the specific spiritual conditions that leave the financial morning unsealed, that allow the day to begin without the covenant covering that the morning seal practice establishes. One of those conditions is the financial life that is conducted entirely in the natural light, the financial decisions made entirely within the framework of visible resources, market conditions, and human calculation, without the specific act of bringing the divine light into the financial space before those calculations begin. The Confession Code is available right now through the link in the description and the pinned comment. I also have a second book, The Priest's Ledger, which I will return to before this teaching ends, and now the theological architecture of the flame. The Zohar's teaching on the relationship between the physical candle and the spiritual channel is more specific than most people who cite it realize. In Tractate ve-yishi, the Zohar describes the moment of candle lighting as the moment when 2 worlds make contact. The person who lights the candle below is performing an act in the physical world, material, chemical, visible, and at the moment the flame appears, the Zohar says, a corresponding flame is kindled in the world above. Not metaphorically, structurally, the physical flame and the spiritual flame form a channel, what the Kabbalists call a tzinor, a pipe or conduit through which the Or Ein Sof flows downward from its infinite source into the specific, bounded material location of the candle. And this channel, formed in the moment of lighting, is the specific vehicle through which the financial provisions stored in the spiritual dimension can flow into the material dimension of the person who has created the vessel to receive them. The candle is not magic, the candle is a vessel, and the financial blessing that the Kabbalistic tradition associates with this morning practice flows because a vessel has been deliberately created to receive it, in the Sha'at Ratzon, in the darkness before the natural light, when the Or Ein Sof is most accessible to the physical world. The Talmud, in Tractate Shabbat, page 23b, makes a specific financial promise connected to candle lighting. One who is careful about the lighting of candles will have children who are Torah scholars, and the tradition extends this principle. Careful, deliberate, covenant-intentioned candle lighting produces the specific blessing of wisdom, chokmah, over the household. We discussed in an earlier teaching that chokmah is the reshit, the principal investment from which all financial return flows. The candle that is lit with the specific intention of bringing the Or Ein Sof into the financial space of the household is the candle that activates the chokmah channel, not the candle lit casually, the candle lit carefully, with kavana, with the directed intention of someone who understands what they are doing and why. Now let me give you the 3 Hebrew phrases of the morning seal. Each one is drawn directly from Scripture. Each has a specific function in the sealing of the financial day, and together they form the declaration that the Kabbalistic morning seal practice builds around the moment of the flame. The first phrase is from Psalm 27:1, Adonai ori ve-yishi, the Lord is my light and my salvation. 3 Hebrew words, spoken in the moment the flame appears, the very instant when the darkness of the room gives way to the first light of the candle. Adonai ori ve-yishi. Not after the flame has been burning for a while, in the moment of its appearance, because the theological statement is most alive at the moment of its correspondence. Solomon was the wealthiest man in the ancient world. He did not pray for money. He asked for one thing, and wealth followed as the consequence. I am the millionaire priest, and I have spent 20 years documenting what Solomon knew. 2 books, the Confession Code, the 7 financial sins no priest will name from the pulpit, and the priest's ledger, the 40-year method for reading wealth before it arrives, one for where you are, one for where you are going. Both available now through the link in the description and the pinned comment below. The flame appears, and the declaration confirms what the flame represents. The Lord is my light. The Or Ein Sof that the flame channels is not a natural phenomenon. It is a covenant presence, and ve-yishi, my salvation, my deliverance, the one who frees me from every financial captivity. The first phrase is the identification declaration, naming what the flame is and who has sent it before the day begins to define itself by anything else. The second phrase is from Isaiah 60, verse 1, Kumi ori kiva orek, arise, shine, for your light has come. This is the declaration that activates the financial day. Kumi, arise, the same word of the midnight watch practice, the same verb of every biblical call to action in a new season. Ori, shine, produce light, be the vessel through which the ore that has come expresses itself in the world. Kiva orek, because your light has come, not because conditions are favorable, not because the financial landscape is clear, because your light has come. The light arrives before the circumstances align. The Or Ein Sof is present before the market has opened, and the numbers have been calculated, and the provision has become visible. Kumi ori kiva orek is the specific declaration that the day begins in light, not the light of conditions, but the light of the covenant presence, before the darkness of unexamined obligation has established its claim. Speak this phrase facing the candle flame, facing the Or Ein Sof that the flame is channeling. Arise, shine, your light has come. The third phrase is the financial sealing declaration, and this is the one that is most specific to the morning seal practice I am giving you today. It is drawn from 2 sources simultaneously, Psalm 36:9 and the Kabbalistic concept of the financial channel of Yesod. Psalm 36:9 says, Ki imcha mekor chayim be'orcha nire, or, for with you is the fountain of life, and in your light we see light. The fountain of life, Mekor Chayim, is the source from which all financial provision ultimately flows. Not the market, not the employer, not the business. The Mekor Chayim, the fountain that does not run dry because it is not connected to any earthly source. And Be'orcha Nire, or, in your light we see light. The financial clarity, the financial vision, the specific ability to see the open door, and the approaching provision that we discussed in the teaching on Romans 8:32 and Isaiah 45:3. This seeing is itself made possible by the light. The channel that the candle opens provides not only provision, but perception. The financial day that begins with the Or Ein Sof channeled through the morning seal is the financial day in which the person is able to see, in the light of the divine presence, what the natural light of human calculation alone cannot reveal. In your light, we see light. Whisper this third phrase to the flame, and let the financial day begin from the perception it opens rather than the limitation it would otherwise inherit from the darkness that preceded it. Now let me give you the complete morning seal practice, the full sequence from the setting of the candle to the financial declaration to the closing of the seal. The first step is the preparation of the candle. The night before, or at the very beginning of the pre-dawn session, place a single white candle in a stable holder on your desk or workspace or kitchen table. Prepare a match or lighter beside it, and if possible, a small notebook and pen for the impressions that may arrive during the practice. The white candle specifically, white in the Kabbalistic color symbolism, represents the Keter, the crown, the highest Sephira, the point closest to the Or Ein Sof. The color of the candle is the color of undifferentiated divine light before it has been refracted through the channels of the lower Sephirot. white, clean, undivided. The second step is the lighting. In the darkness, before the natural light has arrived, strike the match or click the lighter. Hold the flame to the wick for a full 3 seconds before releasing it. Let the flame establish itself. Watch it find its height and its stability. And in the moment, the flame is burning steadily. In the specific moment, when the channel between the physical flame and the spiritual flame above has been fully established, speak the first phrase, Adonai ori ve-yishi, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Speak it to the flame, quietly, with the full intention of someone who is making a declaration to the one who sent the light. The third step is the facing declaration. Still facing the flame, facing the Or Ein Sof that the flame is channeling, speak the second phrase, Kumi orikiva orech, arise, shine, for your light has come. As you speak this phrase, straighten your posture. If you are sitting, sit upright. If you are standing, stand fully upright. The Kumi is physical as well as spiritual. The body participates in the arising the same way it participates in the midnight watch. Arise, face the light. Declare that the light has come, and then sit or stand in silence for 15 seconds, watching the flame, holding the posture of the one who has arisen in response to the arriving light. The fourth step is the financial sealing declaration. Now speak the third phrase, Ka imcha mekor chayim beorcha nire or, and then immediately follow it with a specific, personal, dated financial declaration for the day. Something like, Father, in your light I see the provision of this day. The mekor chayim, the fountain of life, is the source of every financial provision that will arrive today. I declare this day's financial channels open under the Or Ein Sof that the morning flame channels. What enters my hands today enters under the covenant seal. What my hands produce today produces under the establishment of Psalm 90:17. What moves through my financial life today moves through channels that are open and aligned with the one from whom all provision flows. This declaration is specific. It is spoken to the flame, and it is the specific act of sealing the financial day under the covenant covering before the commercial activity of the day begins. The fifth step is the watching of the flame. After the 3 phrases and the personal declaration, sit in silence and watch the flame for 60 seconds, not performing, not continuing to pray, watching. The flame in the Kabbalistic tradition is not only a channel for divine light to flow down, it is also a mirror, a surface in which the attentive observer can receive the impressions of the Or Ein Sof in the form of financial clarity, direction, or perception. The 60 seconds of watching is the receiving end of the morning seal practice. The declaration opened the channel. The watching allows what flows through the channel to reach the perception of the one who opened it. If specific thoughts, directions, names, or financial impressions arrive during the watching, write them in the notebook, without analysis, simply received and recorded. They belong to the morning seal practice, and they can be evaluated in the full light of the day that follows. The sixth and final step is the extinguishing of the flame, but not immediately. Leave the candle burning, if it is safe to do so, for the duration of the morning prayer practice. If you perform the 5-step Kabbalistic morning practice we described in an earlier teaching, let the candle burn through it. If you write the verse from Psalm 90:17 before sunrise, let the candle provide the light by which you write. The morning seal is not the single act of lighting. It is the covering that the flame provides over the entire morning practice, the sustained channel through which the Or Ein Sof remains accessible during the full Shat Ratzon. And when the morning practice is complete, and before the commercial activity of the day begins, extinguish the candle deliberately, not carelessly, with a specific final declaration, This flame has sealed my financial day under the covenant light of the Or Ein Sof. The seal is complete. The channel is open. The day begins in light. I want to come back now to the priest's ledger, the 40-year method for reading wealth before it arrives, because the morning seal practice, the pre-dawn candle, the 3 Hebrew phrases, the watching of the flame, built into the daily morning routine across 40 years, produces a quality of financial attentiveness and covenant alignment that I have never seen produced any other way. The priest's ledger is available now through the link in the description and the pinned comment alongside the confession code. Both are there for you. I want to close with this. The first act of God in the entire biblical narrative, the first recorded decision in the history of the universe, was to call light into existence in the darkness. Vayomer Elohim Yehi, or ve-yishi, or. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. The Or, the divine light, before anything else was created, before the waters were separated, before the dry land appeared, before the financial world of agriculture and commerce and covenant provision was established, before all of it, the light. And the first act of the morning seal practice is the same act, performed at the human scale. You call light into existence in the darkness of the pre-dawn room. You strike the match. You hold it to the wick, and in the moment, the flame appears. In the specific, unrepeatable moment, when darkness gives way to the first light, you say, Adonai ori ve-yishi, the Lord is my light. The same declaration that corresponds to the same act that God performed at the beginning of everything, and the financial day that begins with that correspondence, with the deliberate human participation in the original creative act of calling divine light into physical darkness, is the financial day that has been sealed under the covenant of the one who first called it forth. Leave a comment below. Tell me whether you are performing this practice tomorrow morning. Tell me which of the 3 phrases carries the most weight for your current financial season. This community is built on honest conversations, and I read every one. If you are new here, welcome to the Millionaire Priest. Subscribe and hit the bell. Every week we go this deep at the place where faith and finances meet, and there is much more coming. Light the candle, speak the 3 phrases, watch the flame, and let the financial day begin in the light that was lit before the sun arrived. Amen.